Good day, folks. Welcome back to another tying video. Today we're going to tie kind of an old school pattern. This is called the KO Chronomid Pupa, and that stands for Kamloops Original. And before the bead head and synthetic materials became popular, this was one of the go-to chronomid patterns around Kamloops here. Utilizes some more natural materials, and as you can see, no bead either. So we'll go ahead and get started. I've got a size 10 scud hook in the vise, and I'm tying with black 70 denier ultra thread. And I'm just going to go ahead and get my thread started here. Just start working my taper. And first material we're going to tie in will be some small silver ultra wire. So I'm just going to capture that along the near side and wrap it back into the bend here a little ways. That looks pretty good there. Set that off to the side. And now I've got some black acetate floss, and I'm just going to grab this floss right at the back here and a couple wraps there, and then just pull on a little ways and just cover up those butts there, and then just use the thread to even everything out. I like to try to keep tension on this floss if I can. It just makes it a lot easier to work with. Okay, we'll go ahead and wrap it. So just try to cover that black thread. With this floss all the way up. That looks good there. Go ahead and tie that off. Go ahead and trim that out. And if you had any stragglies, just give them a tug or a snip and get them out of the way. Now we'll take our wire and just go ahead and rib the fly. Should work there. Tie off our wire. Make sure that's nice and secure. And twist it out of there. And then at this step, there's kind of two ways to go about this. If we're going to give it a bath in some acetone. So before I do that, I just like to whip finish it off and put her in some hackle pliers and just dip it in the acetone. If you've got a brush applicator, you can always just brush on, and you'll get the same effect if you don't want to pull it out of the vise. So I'm just going to grab a hold of this and just give her a dunk here. Let her kind of sit in there for, I don't know, 10 or 15 seconds. Doesn't need to be in there for long, but the effect you get is pretty awesome. It will be super shiny, glossy black, and quite durable as well. So knots. Looks pretty good there. I can come back in here, get her back in the vise. And then usually when I put it back in, I like it to be a little more upright now. You can see here, so I can have a nice flat surface to work with as I finish this thing off. So I'll just get retied back in, and I'm trying to keep this thorax area nice and smooth if I can. A couple materials we're going to wrap around there, so the smoother it is, the easier it is to wrap. Next, we've got some turkey fibers here, and I'm just going to take about a half a dozen or so of these turkey fibers and just place them right on top and try to catch them in there, similar to how you would do the wing case or on a pheasant tail or anything like that. This is done quite similar. Make sure it's nice and centered. That looks pretty good to me. We'll just cover these butts up. And next thing is going to be just one piece of peacock herl, and this is going to act as our thorax. So just break away the very tip, fairly brittle, and get this peacock tied in nice and close to where you left off your turkey. Just tie that in nice and secure. And then we'll just go ahead and wrap this herl cover the kind of front half or 2/3, if you will, of the space left on the hook shank here. Just going to capture that. Make sure it's locked off. Pull down with your thread. Just tug that herl up out of the way. And one more material is some white ostrich herl, and this is going to act as our gills. So I'm just going to tie this in at the very front with a few wraps, and trying to keep it fairly smooth. And that looks good. I'll just give this a few wraps up front here. Maybe 2 or 3 is really all you need. Try to leave yourself a little bit of space right up near the hook eye, so we can tie off our wing case when we're done. Once you get that tied in, come in and nip that out of there as close as you can. That looks pretty good there, I think. Trim that out of there. Pull your wing case over. You can kind of wet your fingers a little bit and just part that herl if you need to. Pull this over and just cinch that down nice and tight. Couple wraps over top, couple underneath. Make sure it's nice and secure. Come in and trim it out as close as you can, like so. And then we can come straight into a whip finish. A few turns. That's all we need. So, I'm going to fluff that herl up again, and you'll see the neat effect that it has. It's a pretty cool little pattern. Kind of liking the old school stuff a little bit lately. A little more effort to tie, but like I say, it's nice to have something without a bead to show the fish sometimes when they're picky. You never know what might work, so having a few of these in the box might just help you on that day when you need it. So that's the KO Chironomid pupa. Thanks very much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed this one. Give us a thumbs up if you liked it, subscribe if you haven't, and until the next one, cheers and tight lines.